Good morning, beautiful person. Greetings from gorgeous, sunny Winnipeg. It's crazy. It's November and it's sunny and relatively warm. Anyway, it's hello, friends. So, what I wanted to talk about today is choose your light, and that comes from a number of different things that are going on. First of all, if you live in North America, then you know that we finally, thank God, got rid of DST last night, went back to standard time. Can you tell I'm a morning person? Because I am absolutely delighted to have light in the morning, and I don't care about having it in the evening. So there's that, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. But the other thing is that we are now in the Hebrew month of Kislev, and near the end of this month we will have Hanukkah, which is the Feast of Lights. And because of the vagaries, if you will, of our complicated lunar and solar calendar, Hanukkah is very early this year. It starts at the end of November, so when it comes around to Christmas time, please don't wish us a happy Hanukkah. It will be long been and gone, just so you know. And so it's coming in about 3 weeks, and of course it's generally supposed to be around the winter solstice, and next year it will be. But so this year it's a little early, but it doesn't matter. It has to do with lights. We light candles and so on. There's everywhere, pretty much in the northern hemisphere, there's holidays that have to do with the winter solstice, when the light is minimized and then it comes back again. So why am I saying to choose your light? So one thing you can be absolutely certain of, if you live anywhere which changes the time twice a year, I know lots of places don't, there's all sorts of conversations about that, is there's always this debate. Should we do it? Should we get rid of it? Everybody hates the time changes. Oh, the one about, I don't mind the one about falling back, because it's an extra hour in the morning. Most people have a lot of trouble with getting up early, an hour earlier in March. And that's the other thing. In North America, it's longer than the rest of the world, having to do with Dabya, being worried about kids trick-or-treating in the dark, not to mention the interests of the candy lobby. It's all a very interesting story. But anyway, the point is that there's always this debate. Should we keep doing this? Should we just stay with standard time? Should we just stay with daylight saving time? There's a lot of people who don't care that the sun would rise around here at 9:30 in December, which is just crazy. 8:30 is late enough, thank you very much. But they would rather have sunset be an hour later. And so instead of changing, they just want to stay like this year round. So we have this debate. Every year we have this debate, and most of it is between us people who have no power over this. I mean, I know Alberta just had a referendum about that, but clearly enough people did not want to make that decision. So it comes down to, you have to choose, right? You either choose to keep changing, or you choose one or the other. And as somebody that I was discussing with on Twitter the other day said, it was hi Kathy, it was the position that people took in the argument depended entirely on whether they were a morning person or a night person. People who like getting up early and having sunshine, like me, were in favor of ditching the DST altogether. And people who don't care about light in the morning because they're sleeping anyway, would prefer to have more time after work, because work hours are naturally immutable and can never change. That's a whole different discussion. They might be in favor of having DST year round, so basically living in a time zone which is actually one time zone over from where they actually are. I don't know why that would make any difference, but okay, whatever. Nobody likes the transitions, which is also interesting. But there's enough of a division between those who want one and those who want the other that we keep making the transitions so that everybody's unhappy twice a year. And it really brought to my mind that you need to make your choices in your life about where you want your light to be. And this is, I've been talking about literal sunlight. Would you rather have more light in the morning or more light in the evening? But also metaphorically, you can't, jumping back and forth is, with the time zones, with the DST and so on, we only do that twice a year. It's bad enough, but we only have to go through this twice a year. But if you think about it, a lot of people just can't make up their minds what it is that they want, and they keep jumping around. And, we live in a time where people think they can multitask. My kids are convinced they're capable of multitasking. I'm guilty of it myself because I'm just as ADHD as they are. We think we can multitask. We jump from thing to thing. There's been so many studies which show that when people think they're multitasking, what they're really doing is switching. And every time they switch, it costs them in productivity, in focus, in energy, and the ability to get really deeply into whatever it is they're doing. And if they're not doing anything important, then whatever. But if you're actually trying to write something, if you're actually trying to think about something, if you're making something, if you're constantly being interrupted because of other things that you think need to be done, it's just not going to be a good way to work. So I just wanted to bring to you the thought that you really need to choose what you want to work on at any given time. And there's this technique called time blocking. I'm a huge fan. You take your calendar and you basically block out time. And and if you have things going on in your life, if you have little children, if you have a business, if you have, a demanding boss, if you have whatever you have going on, sometimes it can only be a short time. Not everyone can block out 4 hours to write. And to be honest, it's debatable whether anybody can focus for 4 hours on writing. So people are just going to pretend they're working. There's also studies that show that with 8 hours a day, people are working probably 2 or 3, and the rest of the time they're just wasting their time. So that's one great thing that happened when people had to work at home, was that they were able to, actually do something else if they weren't able to be productive at that moment, and they didn't have to pretend that they were working. But again, that's a whole different discussion. But here's the thing. I want you to give some thought to what it is that you really want to do. Choose your light. What is it that's important to you? So just like in the discussion about DST, there are those of us who want light in the morning. There's those of us who want light in the evening. What do you want? And again, I'm not talking about literal light in this case. Think about what it is that you really want to do. Look at your calendar. Look at your schedule. See if you can block out some time where you can choose to work on something that matters to you and not be interrupted. Turn off the interruptions if you possibly can, and to the most of your ability. And I think you're going to find that you feel really good about yourself if you're able to do that, even if it's just 1 or 2 days a week. Whenever it is that you can, make some time and just work on what matters to you, and it's going to be amazing. So I hope this was helpful for you. Just a reminder, I have a PDF which is 7 of my favorite stress busters, and let me tell you, being able to work on your own things for a certain amount of time is definitely a good stress buster. But if you would like that PDF, just drop me a message. It's absolutely no obligation. I'll be happy to send it to you. So you have a great day. Remember, I love you. Talk to you again soon. Bye.